Have you ever wondered why certain thoughts seem to appear out of nowhere? Why you react instinctively in some situations without really knowing why? Or why deep inside, despite all your conscious efforts, something keeps pulling you back into the same habits, the same fears, and the same behaviors you've been trying to change for years? What if I told you that up to 95% of your life is controlled by something you're barely aware of? Something that runs silently in the background, shaping your choices, your emotions, your habits, your beliefs, your entire identity. That something is your subconscious mind, and whether you realize it or not, it is driving most of your life. You might think you're making decisions consciously, but in reality, your subconscious has already made them seconds earlier. Your conscious mind only justifies the decision afterward. This is not speculation. This is what neuroscience has shown repeatedly. We like to think we're in control, but for the most part, we're operating on scripts that were written long ago. Many of them before we were even old enough to understand what they meant. Your subconscious is like the software of your internal operating system. It stores everything, every experience you've ever had, every word you've ever heard, every emotional response you've ever felt. And it never sleeps. It's always recording, always learning, always responding. It controls not just the automatic functions of your body, like your heartbeat and breathing, but also the way you see the world, how you respond to challenges, how much you believe in yourself, and what you think you deserve. Think about that. The way you see yourself right now, the limits you believe you have, the confidence you feel or don't feel, the fears that hold you back are not fixed traits. They're not written in stone. They're patterns your subconscious has picked up from your past. Maybe from something someone said to you when you were a child. Maybe from a traumatic experience. Maybe from repeated exposure to an idea that your mind eventually accepted as truth. The thing about the subconscious is that it doesn't evaluate or analyze. It doesn't say, this is a good belief, or this idea is false. It just absorbs. It records whatever it receives through repetition and emotional intensity. That's why your childhood was so crucial. Between the ages of 0 and 7, your brain was in a highly impressionable state, what scientists call the theta state. That's the same brainwave state used in hypnosis. During this time, your subconscious mind was wide open, taking in information and storing it as reality without filters. If you were told during those early years that you're not good enough, that you always mess things up, that life is hard, or that you shouldn't expect much from yourself, you didn't just hear those words. Your subconscious made them a part of your identity. And now, even if your logical mind knows better, even if you're trying to be better, that old programming still pulls you back. You find yourself procrastinating, doubting yourself, sabotaging your own goals, and you don't even know why. This is why willpower alone rarely works. You can force yourself to act differently for a while, but eventually you return to the baseline your subconscious has created. The same way a thermostat brings the room back to its set temperature, your subconscious brings your behavior, your emotions, your self-image back to what it's familiar with. But here's the important part. Your subconscious mind is not your enemy. It's not trying to hurt you. In fact, it's doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you, keep you safe, help you survive. The problem is that it's using outdated data. It's still responding to programming that no longer serves you, beliefs that no longer reflect who you are or who you want to become. And just like a computer, your subconscious can be updated, The same way old software can be replaced with something newer, faster, and more effective, you can reprogram the beliefs, habits, and emotional patterns stored in your subconscious. But unlike a quick download, this kind of change takes consistency, awareness, and intention. It takes showing up every day and feeding your subconscious new messages, new experiences, new beliefs, until it begins to accept them as your new normal. One of the most important things to understand is that your subconscious doesn't speak in words. It speaks in symbols, emotions, repetition, and imagery. That's why logic alone can't change it. That's why reading a book or hearing good advice rarely transforms your life, because unless the message sinks into your subconscious, nothing changes long term. If your subconscious believes you're not good enough, it will sabotage every attempt you make to prove otherwise. If it believes success is dangerous, it will create problems just when things start to go well. If it believes people can't be trusted, it will find evidence to support that belief, even if it has to ignore all the times people showed you love and support. And it's not doing this to hurt you. It's doing this because it believes those old beliefs are what keep you safe. But safety is not the same as growth. Comfort is not the same as fulfillment. If you want to truly change your life, you have to start changing the beliefs running your life, not just on the surface, but at the root. This is why so many people struggle with habits, with goals, with motivation, because they're trying to change the fruit, not the root. They're trying to fix the symptoms, not the source. But once you begin to work with your subconscious, once you begin to reshape the programs running beneath your awareness, everything starts to shift. Your habits change effortlessly. Your emotions become more balanced. Your confidence grows naturally. You stop fighting yourself, and instead you begin to work with yourself. And here's what's even more incredible. Your subconscious mind doesn't care if something is real or imagined. It responds the same way to both. So when you imagine success, when you vividly picture yourself as confident, calm, powerful, your subconscious treats that as real. It begins to shift your internal programming to match that image. The more often you repeat it, the deeper it sinks in. And over time, what once felt like pretending becomes your actual identity. This is not magic. It's neuroscience. The more often you fire a certain pattern in your brain, the stronger that pathway becomes. This is called neuroplasticity. Your brain literally rewires itself based on what you repeat. This includes your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs. So the question is, what are you repeating daily? What thoughts do you keep telling yourself? What emotions are you rehearsing? Because every repetition is either reinforcing the old version of you or helping create the new one. Most people go through life unaware of this invisible process. They try harder, push more, blame circumstances, compare themselves, and wonder why change feels impossible. But the real reason is that they're trying to build a new life using the same old foundation. If the foundation is cracked, unstable, or built on outdated beliefs, no amount of surface improvement will last. You can set goals, make plans, read books, watch motivational videos, but if your subconscious doesn't support the change, you'll always find yourself slipping back. You've probably experienced this yourself. Maybe you got excited about a new goal, like waking up earlier, working out consistently, building a business, improving your confidence. You made a plan, took action, felt inspired, but a few days or weeks later, your motivation started to fade. You slipped into old habits. You avoided discomfort. You doubted yourself again. Then came the guilt, the frustration, and the voice in your head that said, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But it's not because you're weak. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you were relying on the conscious mind to overpower years of subconscious conditioning. That's like trying to steer a massive ship with a spoon. The willpower might work for a moment, but the real direction of your life is determined by what's happening beneath the surface. And until you go there, nothing truly changes. So what does the subconscious mind actually believe about you? You can find out by looking at your life, your habits, your reactions, your emotions. They all reveal the programming inside. If you're constantly anxious, your subconscious may believe the world isn't safe. If you avoid opportunities, it may believe you're not good enough. If you struggle with money, relationships, or self-worth, those struggles are just expressions of deeper internal beliefs. The key is to become aware. Begin observing yourself. Notice how you respond to praise, criticism, failure, or uncertainty. Pay attention to the voice in your head when things go wrong. Ask yourself, where did that belief come from? Whose voice is that? Is it even mine? You'll start to see that much of what you think about yourself was never truly chosen by you. It was programmed into you. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change it. One of the most effective ways to begin reprogramming your subconscious is to intentionally plant new beliefs through repetition. You might not feel confident yet, but when you repeatedly affirm, I am confident, I am capable, I am enough, you begin to introduce a new possibility. At first, your mind will resist. It will say, that's not true. That's okay. Keep going. The subconscious mind doesn't change through logic. It changes through consistency. Another powerful method is visualization. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself succeeding, speaking clearly, feeling strong, or reaching your goals, you're training your subconscious to accept that version of you as reality. The more vivid the image, the more emotional the experience, the deeper the impact. Your brain can't distinguish between a real event and one that is vividly imagined. That's why elite athletes visualize their performance before stepping on the field. That's why top performers mentally rehearse success before it happens. They're programming their subconscious to expect it. You can do the same. Picture yourself waking up with energy. See yourself walking with confidence, speaking with clarity, working with focus. Feel it in your body. Hear the sounds. Sense the details. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, your subconscious will start guiding your actions to match the image you've planted. And then there's the power of emotion. Your subconscious responds more to emotion than anything else. That's why traumatic memories stick so deeply. They were charged with intense emotion. But it works the other way too. When you attach strong positive emotion to a new belief or identity, it becomes more powerful. Don't just say, I am worthy. Feel what it would be like to truly believe it. Let that feeling grow inside you. That emotional charge tells your subconscious, this matters. Store this. Remember this. This is why gratitude, joy, love, and excitement are not just nice emotions. They're transformative tools. When you practice feeling grateful for the life you want, even before you have it, you activate the subconscious to begin aligning with that reality. You begin to attract opportunities, people, and actions that support it. Again, this isn't magic. It's focus. It's psychology. Your mind filters reality based on what it expects to see. Change the expectation, and you change what you notice. Another thing to understand is that the subconscious doesn't understand negatives. If you say, "I don't want to fail," the mind focuses on the word fail. If you say, "I don't want to be anxious," it hears anxious. That's why it's more effective to focus on what you do want. Instead of, "I don't want to feel stuck," say, "I am moving forward." Instead of, "I don't want to be afraid," say, "I am courageous." Speak in the language of the outcome, not the problem. Timing matters too. The subconscious is most open to suggestion in two key moments: right after you wake up and just before you fall asleep. Those are times when your brain is in the alpha or theta state and your conscious guard is lowered. That's the ideal window to feed your mind with new beliefs, empowering thoughts, and vivid mental images. Don't waste those moments scrolling through negativity or worrying about the day. Use them to plant the seeds of your new identity. Remember, your subconscious is always learning. Every word you say, every thought you repeat, every emotion you feel, it's all being recorded. You are always programming yourself, whether intentionally or not. The question is, are you programming yourself for limitation or for liberation? For self-doubt or for self-trust? The mind you live with is not fixed. It's flexible, moldable, trainable. And once you start working with your subconscious instead of against it, everything begins to shift. You stop chasing change, and instead, you become the kind of person for whom that change is natural. You begin to trust yourself. You take action without overthinking. You bounce back from setbacks more quickly. You start attracting better relationships, clearer ideas, and stronger habits. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because your inner programming has changed. You're no longer fighting the old story. You've written a new one. That's the invisible power of your subconscious mind. It's not loud. It doesn't shout, but it runs everything. And when you start to understand it, respect it, and shape it with intention, you unlock a version of yourself that's been waiting, quietly, patiently, for you to remember who you really are.
You don't need to change everything overnight. In fact, the subconscious resists dramatic change because it interprets it as a threat. This is one reason why people often feel anxiety or discomfort even when they start making positive changes. The subconscious doesn't understand the difference between good or bad. It understands familiar and unfamiliar. Familiar means safe. Unfamiliar means danger. So when you begin stepping into a new version of yourself, even if it's more empowering, there's a part of you that will try to pull you back. That's not failure. That's a sign you're moving beyond your old limits. That's a sign your internal programming is being challenged. The key is to stay consistent. Repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity becomes safety. Over time, your subconscious will begin to accept the new beliefs, the new patterns, the new identity as your baseline. And when that happens, what once felt hard becomes natural.
There's a reason top performers, world-class athletes, and highly successful individuals often talk about mindset more than strategy. It's not because they don't have techniques or tools. It's because they understand that everything begins with the internal story. If you don't believe you're capable, no strategy will help you follow through. If you don't feel worthy, no amount of external validation will satisfy you. If your subconscious expects struggle, you'll unconsciously create it, even when the path is clear. You've probably heard the phrase, "You become what you think about." That's only partially true. More accurately, you become what your subconscious believes about you. And if you're not paying attention, you may be carrying around beliefs that never belonged to you in the first place. Beliefs from a teacher who didn't believe in you, from a parent who projected their fears onto you, from a society that constantly fed you messages of comparison, scarcity, and doubt. But those beliefs are not permanent. Just because they were installed doesn't mean they can't be uninstalled. You can question them, challenge them, replace them, and as you do, your entire experience of life begins to change. Think about how many areas of your life are shaped by subconscious beliefs. Your relationship with money, for example. If you believe that money is evil, hard to get, or only for certain types of people, you'll repel it, no matter how hard you work. You might undercharge for your skills, avoid opportunities, or make decisions based on fear rather than growth. And unless that belief is reprogrammed, the pattern will repeat. The same applies to love and relationships. If your subconscious believes you're not lovable, you'll sabotage healthy connections or chase those who reinforce that belief. If it believes love equals pain, you'll keep finding yourself in relationships filled with drama, distance, or rejection. Again, not because you want it, but because your subconscious is creating what it knows. Even your health is affected. The placebo effect is a powerful example of the subconscious in action. When someone believes a treatment will work, even if it's just a sugar pill, their body often responds as if it were real medicine. That's the mind-body connection. And it's not just about pills, it's about beliefs. When you believe you are healing, growing, improving, your body responds. And when you believe you're broken, stuck, or cursed, your body reflects that too. This doesn't mean mindset replaces medical care or practical action, but it shows that your inner world directly influences your outer experience. And when you begin aligning your subconscious beliefs with your highest intentions, you create momentum that is deeper than discipline and more lasting than motivation. You may be wondering, if this is all true, why doesn't everyone change? Why do so many people stay stuck in the same patterns their whole lives? The answer is simple: awareness and effort. Most people never become aware of their programming. They live reactively, assuming their thoughts and emotions are facts rather than patterns. And even those who become aware often don't stay consistent long enough to see change. The subconscious doesn't respond to one-time inspiration. It responds to daily repetition. And that's where most people give up. They get excited, they try something new, and when it doesn't work immediately, they say, "It's not for me." But if you truly want transformation, you have to think long term. You have to treat your subconscious like a garden. You can't just plant a seed and expect fruit the next day. You water it, you nurture it, you protect it from weeds. You keep showing up. And eventually, the roots take hold. The new identity grows stronger. The change becomes who you are, not just something you're trying to do. There's another important truth that brings this all together. You don't have to become someone new. You just have to let go of who you were taught to be. Beneath the fear, the doubt, the programming, there is a version of you that is clear, calm, confident, and creative. That version is not something you create, it's something you uncover. Your job is not to invent a new self. It's to remember the self that was buried beneath years of conditioning. That's the power of working with your subconscious mind. You stop trying to force change. You start allowing your true self to rise. And when that happens, you'll feel it, not as a struggle, but as a return, a homecoming, a remembering.
Everything you want already exists in potential. The confidence, the peace, the success, the love. It's not something you have to chase outside of yourself. It's something you have to unlock within. And the key is the subconscious. Once you begin aligning your inner programming with your highest vision, the outer world starts to respond. You'll begin noticing synchronicities, those moments where things just seem to fall into place. You'll meet the right people, hear the right message, stumble across the right opportunity. It's not coincidence, it's resonance. You're tuning your internal frequency to a new signal, and the world mirrors that shift back to you. That doesn't mean life becomes perfect. You'll still face challenges. You'll still feel fear. But the difference is that you won't be controlled by the old programs anymore. You'll have the awareness to pause, to choose differently, to respond instead of react. And each time you make a conscious choice that aligns with your higher self, you reinforce that identity within your subconscious. This is how real, lasting transformation happens. Not through intensity, but through consistency. Not through forcing, but through alignment. It's a quiet power, a subtle rewiring, and over time, it creates massive results. You'll start trusting yourself again. You'll stop second-guessing everything. You'll take bold steps without needing external approval. You'll become the kind of person you used to admire, not because you changed into someone else, but because you finally gave yourself permission to be who you really are. But here's the truth. No one else can do this for you. No book, no video, no mentor can reprogram your mind unless you're willing to take the wheel. This is your inner world, your responsibility, your power. The tools are there: affirmations, visualization, meditation, emotional healing, journaling. But they mean nothing if you don't use them. You must show up for yourself every single day. And on the days when it feels pointless, when the old thoughts creep back in, when doubt feels louder than belief, that's when it matters most.
That's when the change is actually happening. Growth is not loud. It's quiet, invisible at first. But keep going, and one day you'll look back and realize you're no longer the person you used to be. Your thoughts have changed. Your energy has shifted. Your actions flow more easily. You feel at home in your own mind. And the life you once dreamed of feels natural because you've become the person who lives it.